Okay, so you're looking to, cut through all the noise, get a really solid handle on something new tech-wise, but without getting totally bogged down in endless details. Well, think of this as your express lane, your way to understand the essentials. We've done a deep dive into a specific piece of tech, pulling out what you really need to know.
Exactly. We've sifted through it all, really done the heavy lifting to bring you what matters. And today we're focusing on the Apple Watch SE, the second gen model, specifically the one with cellular. It's a device that's really designed to sort of weave itself into your everyday life.
Right. And the basis for this, our map, if you will, is this really useful YouTube podcast script. It's titled Apple Watch SE Second Gen Cellular Review. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
So we're basically pulling out the key insights from that review, and we're trying to tackle that core question lots of you probably have. Is this watch a smart buy? And importantly, could it let you ditch your iPhone sometimes? Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's start with where this fits in. The Apple Watch SE, the second gen with cellular, it holds an interesting spot in Apple's lineup. It's definitely positioned as the more accessible entry point, the more budget-friendly way into the Apple Watch world. Price-wise, it's around $279 currently, but, always worth double-checking the latest price.
Absolutely, yeah, prices do change. So who's this really for then? Who's the target user? It seems like it's for people who want that core Apple Watch stuff.
Yeah.
The fitness tracking, staying connected.
Yeah.
And they want that cellular option, the independence, but maybe they don't need all the bells and whistles of, say, the Series 9 and the cost that comes with it. What's your read?
I think that's spot on. It really is about delivering those fundamental Apple Watch strengths, just without the premium extras. So at its heart, this model gives you three main things. There's the freedom that cellular brings, pretty comprehensive fitness tools, and of course, that really smooth integration with iOS that iPhone users tend to value.
Okay, let's unpack that cellular bit first. What does that actually mean day to day, having cellular built into the watch?
Well, the interesting thing here is how it subtly changes how you interact with everything. With cellular, the watch gets its own connection. It doesn't need the iPhone nearby all the time, so it can handle calls, stream music, deal with texts, even if your phone's back at home or, in your locker. Just think about going for a run and not being totally cut off. Or maybe a kid having a way to reach you without needing a full phone. It's those kinds of everyday situations where you really see the benefit.
Yeah, I can definitely see the appeal for running. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Health and fitness. That's huge for smartwatches, right? What's it offer there?
Oh, absolutely. And it's well equipped. You get the continuous heart rate monitoring, which is pretty standard now. You also get detailed sleep tracking, helps you understand your rest, and support for, I think it's over 20 different workout types. And a nice touch, actually, is the automatic workout detection for things like running and cycling. It just notices you're doing it and starts tracking. Pretty convenient.
That auto detection sounds great. Less fiddling. And I remember the review mentioning durability, like it can handle getting wet.
Exactly. It's got a swim-proof design, so, whether you're doing laps in the pool or just get caught in the rain, it should be fine. Plus, the display, it's a Retina display. It's designed to be bright enough to see easily outdoors,
Yeah.
which is obviously crucial if you're using it on a run or whatever.
Right, makes sense. And family setup, that term popped out at me too. What's that about? Sounds specific.
Yeah, family setup is interesting. It lets you basically set up an Apple Watch for a family member, like a child who doesn't have their own iPhone. You pair it with your iPhone instead. And this unlocks features like GPS location tracking, so you get peace of mind knowing where they are. And they can use it to send emergency alerts too, if needed. It's really about connection and safety within the family.
That does sound like a really useful feature, especially for parents. Okay, the inevitable question for any gadget. Battery life. How does it stack up?
Ah, yes. The review pegs it at around 18 hours. They call it all-day battery life, which, should get most people through their day, from morning till night. But it does mean you'll pretty much need to charge it every night. So that's something to keep in mind if you're used to devices that last multiple days.
Okay, 18 hours, charged nightly. Got it. So we've gone through the features. Let's try to weigh things up. What are the clear wins, the big advantages of this SE Cellular model?
Well, based on the source material, the main pros seem to be: first, it's a relatively affordable way to get cellular on an Apple Watch, that independence without the top-tier price. Second, you get a really solid set of health and fitness features for what you're paying. And third, crucially for many, is that seamless iOS integration. Using Apple Pay from your wrist, quick access to Siri, running apps from the App Store, that whole ecosystem benefit.
Those are definitely strong arguments. But okay, every product has trade-offs. Especially budget-friendlier ones. Where does it compromise? What are the downsides noted in the review?
Right, the compromises. The review points out a few key things. One is the lack of an always-on display, so the screen stays off until you raise your wrist or tap it.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have the ECG app for taking an electrocardiogram. That's reserved for the higher-end models like the Series 9. And finally, while the battery life is okay all day, it might not last as long as some competitors, like certain Fitbit watches, for instance.
Okay, no always on, no ECG, standard battery life. Makes sense for the price point. So pulling this all together, who is this watch really for? Can we help the listener figure out if it fits their needs?
Yeah, let's synthesize. Based on the review's insights, this SE model seems perfect for someone looking for a, let's say, straightforward, reliable Apple Watch experience. If your main goals are tracking workouts, enjoying that ability to stay connected without your phone sometimes, whether that's for exercise, running errands, or just wanting to carry less, and maybe using those family setup features, then yeah, this looks like a really compelling choice. It balances features and cost well within the Apple world.
But, and there's always a but, if someone really prioritizes those advanced health stats, like the ECG, or they absolutely want that always-on display convenience.
Then exactly, the reviewer suggests looking higher up the range. Investing in something like the Series 9 might be the better move for those specific users. It really just boils down to matching your personal priorities, what you value most, with what each model offers. The SE gives you a lot, but there are those deliberate omissions to hit that price.
Okay, great summary. So we've taken a good look at the Apple Watch SE, the second gen with cellular. We've covered its features, its strengths, its limitations, all drawing from that YouTube review. Hopefully you listening now have a much clearer picture of what this smartwatch is all about.
Absolutely. And just as a final thought, something to mull over, which actually echoes a point from the review, could you see yourself, maybe just for a day, leaving your iPhone completely behind, relying only on a cellular watch like this? Would that feel, genuinely freeing, or maybe surprisingly kind of restrictive in how you go about your day?
That's a really interesting question to ponder, isn't it? Especially as this kind of personal tech just keeps evolving so fast. It's fascinating to see how these gadgets are fitting into our lives, changing habits, and we'll definitely keep exploring these kinds of shifts in future deep dives.